Hello and welcome back to the Unlocked Potential podcast. On this week's episode, we have Joseph Costello, who is a mindset coach. We spoke about Joseph's business and mindset coaching and how to build awareness and discipline. I hope you enjoy. So for anybody listening, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Yeah, so my name is Joe Costello. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've started several 7- and 8-figure businesses. And one of my main passions is to help 6- and 7-figure business owners to really catapult their income by using mindset techniques.
And have you got any is there anyone that you've made a really big impact on, or anyone who have went from 6 to 7 figures or anything?
Yeah, so last year alone in 2022, I think I had about 120 clients, and 62% of them doubled their income within a year. And a lot of people, one of the main things when you come and you work with someone, so over the years, I've worked with many mindset coaches. And one of the things that they do is they lend you their belief, their confidence, their know-how. And a lot of the time we're going through life and we don't think it's possible. So when we look at Roger Bannister, ran the first 4-minute mile. So he ran the first 4-minute mile. Before that, man couldn't run a 4-minute mile. But within the next year, I think there was 32 people ran a 4-minute mile. So a lot of the time we're going through life and, you're doing what has gone before you. So
it's like seeing someone else doing something, then you believe that you're able to achieve it as well.
Yeah, but in most cases, a lot of people is just, we eat what our parents eat. We speak how they spoke and we do what they do. So if you grow up in a house that's bilingual, you'll speak 2 languages. If you grow up in a house and mom and dad is working a 9-to-5 job, there's probably a 90 to 95% chance that you're going to work a 9-to-5 job. Similar to me, at the age of 15, I left school. So I left school and I went and I worked in a builders, providers and coal yard. My brother had left school at 15. He worked in the same coal yard. At the age of 18, I went to work in Dublin City Council with my father. And I was the 4th generation to work in Dublin City Council. My great-grandfather, Ned O'Donoghue, built Bonabrina Reservoir. My granddad worked there. My father worked there. So what was I meant to do but follow in their footsteps?
Yeah.
And what I soon realised is that, I'd start working there when I was 18. And at the age of 23, things really took a downturn within me, within my mindset, within my mental health. And I wasn't happy. And I knew there was something deeper that I could give to life. I knew there was more potential inside of me. And when you're not, fulfilling your potential, that's where, things happen in life. You'll feel sad, you'll feel depressed, and then when you feel sad and depressed, then you might then start looking at drinking, overeating, turning to drugs, all these different types of things. And that's sort of what happened to me at the age of 23, that, if it's only a little bit bad, it can only be a little bit good. But back then it was very bad for me. And when we look at a pendulum, if a pendulum is only swinging a little bit, it can only go the opposite. Where the pendulum for me was very bad. So the opposite of that, it could be very good. And, every negative has a positive. It's the darkest hour before the dawn. And that's what led me on my path of self-discovery and understanding who I was, understanding what I wanted. And that's 19 years ago. And over the last 19 years, I've gradually, evolved as an individual, for the first few years.
What made you change, want to change your mindset, or know that there's a different way of thinking, or what did you see, say Joe Dispenza on YouTube or a video and been
Well, it was funny because nowadays, we have so much information coming at us. We get onto the iPhone and I talk to different people, different clients, and I'd say, see this phone, this can make you $1 million like that, but it can also lose you $1 million like that. So what do I mean is there's too many people spending too much time scrolling, looking at other people. And, you know, when we look at Instagram or these social platforms, is you're looking at other people during the day that's putting the best picture up of them.
Yeah.
Like they're actually probably after taking 5 pictures to put that best pose.
Probably
Now,
about 100, never mind the 5.
Yeah. I'm not that
and
vain.
edited to bits and stuff, yeah.
I'm not that vain. I only take 5. But, you know, you're looking at these people and you're comparing yourself. But 19 years ago, for me, there was no internet. There was no social platforms. And for me, back then I was looking at TV one night and I was looking at Paul McKenna come on. Paul McKenna is a hypnotherapist. If people don't know, a lot of people probably is younger looking at this, they don't know who he is.
I got hypnotised to stop smoking.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah. And I looked at Paul McKenna and, you know, he come on and I was smoking back then. I was over drinking. I was overweight. And the first fella come on and the first fella was there and he was smoking. So Paul has a chat with him and as he's having a chat with him, right, you know, what do you want to do? And he says, I want to give up smoking. And I was sort of saying, I'd love to give up smoking. And then the second fella come on and he was overweight. And, you know, I was sort of looking at him and Paul was talking to him and he says, what do you want to do? And he says, I want to lose weight. And I was saying, I want to lose weight. And then the third fellow was quite unconfident. And I was very unconfident back then because remember, everything we're doing in life is down to our self-esteem, down to our self-worth. How do we value ourselves? Like, you know.
Yeah,
so,
I feel like I've grown my confidence, definitely. And I'm still kind of working on it since being younger and stuff like that.
It's ever evolving, like, you know, you'll actually find you'll grow confidence in one area of your life and then it will highlight another area of your life that you're not as confident. And then there was 2 other people. So I says, you know, he sort of intrigued me, you know, what was going on. And I think back then I used to watch the soaps on the TV and I think he was coming on after Coronation Street. So I was a Coronation Street fan back then. And he was coming on a Wednesday night after Coronation Street at 8 o'clock on ITV. And I remember then tuning in the next week. And the first fella comes on and he's smoke free for a week. Second fella comes on and he was after losing 4 or 5 pounds. And the third fella that came on that was unconfident that the first day was, you know, real slouched down in the chair and couldn't even look at the camera. He was looking at the camera more and you could just see his posture was sitting up more. And this intrigued me and I watched that.
So he hypnotised each one of them to basically at the event?
Hypnotised them over the course. I think the series was 6 weeks. And over the course of the 6 weeks that I looked at that. And, you know, your man was smoke-free for 6 weeks. The fella was after losing, I think, a stone over the 6 weeks. And the fella that couldn't look at the camera was like sitting up here and he was nearly taking, you know, the limelight from Paul McKenna. And it sort of intrigued me. And I remember back then, again, this is going back then, there was no internet and it was the golden pages. So for you as older people, there was a yellow book used to come out in September every year. And in order for you to advertise your business, you had to pay the golden pages money. This golden pages would get delivered to your door. And I remember looking at the golden pages, going to the back of the golden pages, looking up hypnotherapy. And there was a company called the Be Well Hypnotherapy Clinic, Derek O'Neill. He turned out to be a great mentor for me. And I remember booking in to go for hypnotising myself off smoking. Now, people might look at me now and they say, right, you know, you're quite confident, you've achieved a lot. But back then, that wasn't like that. I was overweight, I was unconfident, my self-worth was very low, I was biting my nails, so I could do nothing. Like if someone said to me, I'll give you £1 million, €1 million to give up smoking, I couldn't do that because I had no belief in me. And I remember going in, so what people have to realise is hypnotherapy is only a form of auto-suggestion. So, some people say, I can't be hypnotized. Well, you won't be hypnotized.
Yeah, when I went in to get hypnotised, stop smoking, I was a bit scared. I was like thinking, is he going to knock me out? Do you ever see them videos and people on stage and they're doing mad stuff?
Yeah, but that's stage hypnosis.
Yeah,
so you have hypnosis and then you have hypnotherapy. So hypnotherapy is more going deeper down into your subconscious mind. And I remember going in and he asked you a few questions, and all hypnotherapy is auto-suggestion. So you close your eyes and he's going to tell you, I want you to relax. I want you to go deep, deep down. And what it is, I remember then this was in 2004. Now in 2006, my life was after changing so much within them 2 years. I wanted to know how, and I qualified as a hypnotherapist. So you
went and done a course?
Yeah. So I done a year course. So here was someone, in 2004, I was working in a company. I was earning 30,000 a year. I was unhappy. I was sad. I was overweight. I was biting my nails. I had no confidence. I was spending 40,000 a year. I was always in debt. And I went and I started to realize who me was. Now, when he hypnotized me off smoking back then, I was off smoking for 4 days and I went back off smoking. But that was the one time in my life that I realized that there was light at the end of the tunnel, because before that, it was just all darkness. Yeah. I couldn't achieve anything. There was no way that I could give up.
You saw that you're able to change.
It gave me a little glimmer of hope. And that's what it is. So when we look at optimism, so optimism is you're in a dark tunnel and you can see a glimmer of light and you focus on the light. But a lot of people is focusing on the 99% dark. And I focused on the 1% light. I got hypnotized. I went off and I bought Paul McKenna's book, Change Your Life in 7 Days. Back then, when you bought the book, you got a CD. Yeah. And I remember the CD, then you'd go home and you'd listen to the CD. And basically what the CD was doing was starting to program your subconscious mind. So if we look at us as individuals, we get 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. 90% of them is memories from yesterday. So generally what happens is yesterday you can bolt onto today. So we're in a program. So in order to change the hardware, we have to change the software. So how do you change the software? Well, you understand we have a conscious mind. The conscious mind, it's a little bit like an iceberg and it's 5 to 10% above the water. But below the water is the subconscious mind, which is about 90%. Now, 90 to 95% of our results is coming from our subconscious mind. So here today, someone might turn around and say, I want to be smoke-free. I want to weigh less. I want to think more confident. I want to go to the gym. And consciously, you want this in life. Who wouldn't want to be smoke-free? Who wouldn't want to be more confident? Who wouldn't want to be their proper weight? But that's only controlling 5% of your life. And basically through that is that you go into your subconscious mind and you change your subconscious mind. And I really, took that, with both hands. And I really started to ask the question. So, a lot of people is going to talk about, I don't want this in my life. I don't want that in my life. But, you never ask the question, what do you want? Like, how much money do you want to earn? How many hours do you want to work? Do you enjoy your job? Do you want to be a better husband, father, wife, mother? And I think questions is the steering wheel of the mind, because a lot of the time we're going through the program of 90% of yesterday is coming on to today.
We just keep reliving the same day.
And that's the program. And I remember in 2004, I bought my first limousine. I remember an opportunity came. So when you change one part of your life, it's like a domino effect. So before it was, I'm in a job, I don't like it, I'm overweight, I'm biting my nails, I'm drinking too much. And it was a domino effect and I was going that way. But then I started to realize there was other opportunities, the little bit of optimism. And I remember buying my first limousine. It was for €15,000 at the time. Hadn't got the money. I was lucky enough, my sister loaned me the money. I'd no PSV license. I didn't know what to do. But I bought it. So one thing I'm very good at is trusting me gut feeling. And I bought it. And just going for it. I made a decision. And one of the key things that I teach in life, and why 62% of my clients last year doubled their income, is they made a decision to double their income. When you make that decision, so a lot of people is making decisions and they don't trust their decisions. But when you make an irrevocable decision and burn the boats and you actually, go for the thing that you want, you shift yourself onto a different frequency. So everything in life is frequency, vibration. So people talk about the law of attraction. So what we think we're going to attract. But the law of attraction is a secondary law. The first law is the law of vibration, which means everything vibrates. So as we're sitting here, although I'm matter, I'm physical form, I'm still vibrating and everything moves. We live in an ocean of motion. And I started vibrating on a different frequency. So when I made that decision, I shifted myself onto a different frequency. And what you realize on that frequency, there's people, there's places, there's information, there's ideas. And when I went on that frequency, I started meeting different people. I started ending up in different places. I started getting different ideas. I started getting different information. And this is where, in life, we don't need to know how. A lot of people want to know how they're going to double their income. A lot of people want to know how they're going to achieve these things in life. You're not going to figure out the how until...
Sorry for interrupting. I feel like with social media, it's a bit easier now to find out all these things. Like you'd easily text somebody who's doing something that you want to do or whatever.
So much easier. Much easier. But in today, we talk about one of the key things in life is use of time. So, everyone gets the same amount of time every day, but sometimes people is programmed to waste their day.
Yeah.
So we get up in the morning, we go through the program, we're going through life, we're meeting the same people, we're looking at the same stuff, we're comparing ourselves to the same people. And if you're in that same community, in that same environment, nothing is going to change. Like at some point in your life, you're going to have to make a decision that I want more in my life. And with that comes challenges because all of a sudden, if you're on a different frequency, the people that say you are hanging around with, some of your good friends, some of your good family, or some of your family isn't on that frequency. So things is going to change. So before, when you were, talking about sports and talking about different genres of music and so on like that, you're not on that frequency anymore. But you're changing as that individual. And that's the challenge because all of a sudden they're on this frequency, you're on this frequency. And when you change, so that was one of the biggest things with me that I started to realize that, number one is make a decision. Number two is take action. When you take action, you set up a reaction in life or an attraction. Now, when you make that decision, and that's an irrevocable decision, and you take action, you're going to set up a different reaction or attraction. And that's where some people want to know how, so they don't take any action. So if they don't take any action, there's no reaction or attraction.
Yeah, people want to know the answers to everything before they even start doing it. Yeah. So going back to that's what when I done the program with you. So what advice would you give to someone like me, actually, for example? Like I done the program, I felt like I was like everything was going well, and then I kind of went back to the same as I was before. Like I was getting up early every morning, doing my journaling, and then now I feel like I'm all stressed out again. And how do you go back? Obviously, just doing the lessons and stuff like that, and meditating again.
You make a decision.
Yeah.
So remember, too many people is making decisions, but they're not irrevocable. So like one of the things that I learned in life, or that I have more confidence in me, is discipline. So again, years ago,
I feel like sometimes I still struggle with that. Like when it comes to work, I'll find discipline for that. But when it comes to me, like I'll get into a good routine of going to the gym or whatever, eating good, and then it's really easy for me to kind of snap out of that. Where if it's with work, I'll make the commitment and I'll make sure I do it. So
let me ask you a question. When you were doing the program, right, and I done a 6-month program, say, and I know for the first 12 weeks you really applied yourself to the program. what did you, like, how did you think, how did you feel? What did you get within them 12 weeks?
I think it's just kind of getting up early, and like I feel like going to the gym as well is just like I have to work me out back there, so I haven't went to the gym now in the last couple of weeks, and even like my heart rate and all, I'm after getting a notification on my phone, my heart rate's gone up. I feel more stressed out. Like I just feel like I'm not as focused. That's another thing that I was going to ask you, like how can you work on that? But how can you make yourself more focused?
Well, you know, it's so much harder in today's world to focus because we've so much distractions.
Yeah,
So
I heard the attention span is after everyone's attention span from TikTok and everything's after that much.
So when you look at even the phone, can make you 1 million, can lose you 1 million. So you look at the phone and the phone is there and you want to focus, and let's just say you're involved in WhatsApp groups and you're getting notifications off Instagram, you're getting notifications off TikTok, you're getting notifications off Twitter, emails is coming in. One of the main things that I do is I would have a routine every morning, and that routine generally gets up at 5 or 5:30 every morning. I swim 5 days a week. I do 1 kilometre every day. I do a 30 to 45 minute meditation every morning.
How long, sorry?
30 to 45 minutes.
No way, I'd be struggling with a 10.
Yeah. Listen, I was like that at one point. I do a bit of gratitude and I do 5 minutes in a 2-degree ice bath. And that's, to me, that's a given every day. That's my discipline. And within that then, I set myself up on a different frequency. So I'm setting myself up on a higher frequency because when you look at going to the gym, it lifts your frequency. When you look at writing gratitude, it lifts your frequency. When you look at doing an ice bath, it lifts your dopamine, it lifts your frequency. And when you look at doing meditation, it lifts your frequency. So I'm setting myself up to win. So that means when I go through the day and I take different actions during the day, I'm going to get a reaction or attraction that's more in alignment with my bigger picture or what my goal is. Where a lot of people is reacting to life and they're stressed. And then they're taking an action when they're stressed, or they're taking an action under, you know, feeling a little bit of that victim and things is happening to me rather than by me. And you're just going to we don't get what we want in life, we get who we are.
Yeah.
We don't get what we want. So although you want to be smoke-free, you want to weigh a little bit lighter, you want to be earning this amount of money, if you're not feeling that inside of you, you're never going to get it. Now, how can we get there? Well, number one is when we go back to the subconscious mind is like the soil. It can only accept. So if we go outside there today and we plant different seeds into the soil, and let's say we plant seeds of roses here and we plant seeds of carrots here, and then we plant dandelion seeds and we plant an oak tree seed. In the right environment with the right temperature and it's getting sunlight, that much must grow. And each time you put that into the ground, each one of them seeds is going to vibrate on a different frequency, which is going to attract to it the nutrients it needs to grow. So what can we do to help us grow as that individual? One of the main things is a routine in the morning. And how important is that routine in the morning to you? And over the years with me, I'm very disciplined. Like 4 years ago in May, I gave up drink. I gave up lemonade.
You haven't drank in 4 years now, is it?
No, gave up drink, lemonade, sweets, chocolate,
In 4 years you haven't eaten any sweets or that?
cakes, ice cream, all of this. I gave it up. But over the years, I was a bit like you. I would be disciplined for 12 weeks, you know, in the gym, writing me gratitude, getting these things done. And then I wouldn't have enough stamina and then I'd fall off. I'd fall off the face of the earth and then I'd go into being a little bit stressed and so on like that. So discipline comes, I think, with, you know, your state of mind, your confidence inside of you. But a lot of people, if they're not disciplined, then, you know, you're disciplined for 12 weeks and then maybe you go out and you miss the gym for a few days and you overeat for a few days and then you focus on this it's not about what you do. It's about how quick you can get back to what you've done. So if you're not disciplined, say this weekend, not the end of the world.
Start again.
Start again. And it's the difference between how quick that you can start again, because some people then might go undisciplined for 12 weeks, 10 weeks, 8 weeks, 6 weeks.
Yeah, the longer you wait, the harder it is. That's what I'm waiting on an MRI for me back, and I'm like, I need to get this quick.
Yeah, but like you're saying, you're waiting on an MRI for your back, but that wouldn't, like, hypothetically, if I'm being critical here, that wouldn't stop you getting up and doing a 10-minute meditation, a visualization, writing a bit of gratitude. And like that soil, whatever we plant in life, that must happen. Like the soil is impartial. It doesn't say I don't want to grow. So like everything in life, what seeds are we growing in life? What seeds are we planting? And over the years, one of the things that I've done is, like, when I remember then I studied, qualified in hypnotherapy in 2006 and 2007. I went off and I studied NLP, neuro-linguistical programming. I've worked with Bob Proctor. I've worked with Tony Robbins. I've worked with Dr. Joe Dispenza. I've always, evolved as an individual. And what done me a year ago isn't going to do me now. Why? Because I've changed as that individual. And what was my sweet spot a year ago, 2 years ago, isn't going to, do the same or have the same effect 12 months ago as it does now. It's a little bit like, you can go into a cafe there today and let's just say you get a nice toasted sambo. You know what I mean? And you really enjoy it. And then you go back next week and you have the same toasted sambo. You keep having that same toasted sambo for the next 6 months. That's going to wane, and that enthusiasm or that passion or that drive or that energy for that toasted sambo isn't going to actually have the same effect on you. And a lot of people just wants to stay stuck. In life, there's a lot of people addicted to blame, shame, guilt, regret, drama. And every day, within that program, just the way at maybe 10 o'clock, your body takes you to that coffee machine to have that cup of coffee. You stop in the petrol station on the way to work to have that cup of coffee. Your body then is looking for that blame, shame, guilt, regret. So that's where the program, still comes in, just in our feelings and our emotions alone. But the good thing that people should know is that we can change that program. And
it's all just a habit.
And how do we change that? Is we change the software, which is going to affect the hardware, which is going to affect the program.
Yeah, I had every morning, it was like a thing. I had to go make a cup of coffee and have a cup of coffee every morning in the car, sipping on it. So I was like, right, okay, so now I'm like trying to sip on a bottle of water instead. Yeah. Which that kind of got me out of routine of that. So now I'm not having I'm like, right, I'll wait till my coffee till a little bit later or something. Yeah. So now I'm after snapping out of that habit. So,
but change is difficult. Yeah. Why is change difficult? Because our brain is programmed that it wants to, take the same path. And when you look at change, right, and the way the brain is wired, it's a little bit like going into a field. And when you go into a field, there's a path. And that path is your program that, as you walk that path, you're not using loads of energy. So the brain is an energy saving machine, right? But if you want change, then you have to go into that field and then you have to walk through that long grass. And when you're walking through that long grass, it takes more energy because you're lifting your feet and your legs higher and you're trying to get through that field. But over a period of time, if you keep walking that same path, you're going to create a new neural pathway within your brain, which makes it easier. And a lot of people just want to stay stuck. But my advice to anyone is it is possible.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people think it's who they are or they can't change and it's not possible or whatever, yeah.
Well, listen, I was one of them persons. Yeah. You know that way. And when I look at even the likes of my son, Harry, he's 15, how the difference in his mindset is compared to me or compared to when I was 15, because he's just looking at me like he completed.
You probably know exactly what to say, obviously because all your beliefs and stuff come from your obviously your man, your dad or whatever. So obviously you know probably what the right things to say to him, or whenever he comes up to you with a problem and stuff.
I do, but you know, my
probably
father
still find it hard.
My father was quite critical, so at times I'm critical of him, and then he's not always going to listen to me. So I'm his father. You know that way. So,
but then he's put other people around him in school and stuff like that. Yeah.
But I remember I got the ice bath. I bought an ice bath in December 20th, and
so you do it with you?
He does it with me,
really?
and I think apart from being out of the country for a few days, I think I've done about 250 ice baths. You know, every day, 2 degrees, 5 minutes, and he's done something similar. Same as me. So we do what they do. We eat what they eat.
Yeah.
We speak what they spoke. And he done his first half marathon when he was 14 in June there, and then he's in the gym. And last night we were in the house.
He done his half marathon. How old is he?
14. Yeah.
Oh my God. No way.
So last night we were in the house and we had a few words because he's after taking up MMA. And I'm managing his football team since he's under 8s. And he left football just there in September. So we won the Féile now this year, under 15 St. Anne's Bonabrina. And I have them all since that age. I'm part of a 3-team coaching team. And we have them since that age. And he wanted to leave football. He wasn't feeling it, you know what I mean? And he's after taking up MMA. But like, you know, we had a discussion in the house, which actually turned into a bit of an argument. So I'm not going to sit here and say that, you know,
things don't happen.
I have all the answers, you know, but he's training 8 times a week. Like he's doing MMA 4 days a week, and then he's in the gym 4 days a week. And I'm trying to say, listen, son, you're only
He's 15 now.
Yeah, he's only gone 15 in August, and I'm trying to say to
I didn't
him,
care about the gym at that age.
But see, it's a whole different era because he's on social media, TikToks and Instagrams.
And that's all that's coming up now,
And you're looking at lads with abs, and he's at home and he's cooking 3 or 4 times a day for himself.
Is he? Yeah, no way.
But the difference is he's seen a difference in me. So I'm changing him just by him looking at me. You know that way. And I can actually see that little bit of that obsessiveness within him. So he does everything 110%. Like, you know, in the last year or so, in the last few years, I've changed big time because, like, for many years in my life, it was work. It was all about work. It was all about focus on money. And, you know, while that's great, and a lot of people is going to be sitting here, they're probably going to be in their mid-20s, and they want money and they want the house and they want the car. And that's okay because that's what you want at that age of your life. But I'm going to tell you here and now, I'm probably one of a couple of % that will get to the point of living in a, 6,500 square foot house, having BMWs, Range Rovers, Bentleys, Lamborghinis sitting outside the house. And along the way, like, I thought that was going to bring me the happiness. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having this, but if you think that your house is going to bring you happiness, or your car is going to bring you happiness, or your bank balance is going to bring you happiness, I'm going to tell you it's not, because true success is inside of you. So, like, in the last 9 months, I've gave up. I've just took a bit of a career break. And why is that? Because I just wanted to look at me as an individual. And it was sort of, you're always going from goal to goal, business to business. There ain't nothing wrong with that. But, like, are you happy inside of you? So if you're not achieving that turnover or that profit, or you're not achieving, going to the gym 5 days a week, or you're not achieving something outside of you. And I think 2.5 years ago, I went to my first Dr. Joe Dispenza week-long meditation in Cancun. And since then, I've done 7 week-longs, and next month I'm going to Dallas for an advanced follow-up for 4 days. And what that does is that just strips everything back. And, like, when you look at meditation is you close your eyes, you're sitting in a lotus position, and you're inside of you. So you're not living your life through your 5 senses. So you're not living your life through what you see, what you hear, what you taste, what you touch, what you smell. And all these 5 senses is distractions. The phone, talking to someone, distraction. And a lot of the time, we're using the distraction because we don't want to look at us as that individual. And everything that we achieve in life is from inside of us. Because, you look at, say, two people in the same industry, in the same area, selling the same product. One person is smashing it, making loads of money, having the nice house, driving the nice car, the nice girlfriend or the nice boyfriend on the arm, and then you have someone else over here that's struggling. What is the difference? Well, the difference is their mindset. And when you look at mindset, where is your mind set at? So your mind is set at, and just the way, in a room, the temperature in the room is set. Some rooms are set at 18 degrees, 20, 22. Your mind is set at a certain area in your life. So your mind is set. Your income, that's where your mind is set. Your relationship, that's where your mind is set. Your body, your weight, that's where your mind is set. But, true success in life is 95% mindset, 5% strategy. And that's one thing that I have, taught, I've learned over the years because, I'm no better than anyone else. I left school at 15. I have no education. But one thing I've learned is that I will make a decision on what it is that I want to achieve. I will start learning. I know how to reprogram my mind. I'll start writing out my affirmations every day. So a lot of people in today's age, because we're living in today's age, everything happens very quickly. We go online tonight, we've Amazon Prime, and we hit the button, and then tomorrow the package is there for you.
That's me all over.
Yeah. or even you go into the likes of say a cafe, and you can have whatever you want there and then. But mindset is a little bit different, and it's a little bit longer. You can change your mindset, but you need to have the discipline. So what I would say to you, are you disciplined to commit maybe an hour every morning for 6 months? That includes Saturdays and Sundays. That includes if you go on holidays. Are you committed to that? And just the way we can sow a seed outside. So you imagine if we plant a flower seed into a pot, and that flower seed is there, and it gets the right amount of light, which is energy, and it gets the right amount of water, which is energy, and it's in the right temperature, which is energy, that seed is going to grow. So just the way we can plant the seed inside of us, but when we give it the right amount of energy, it's going to grow.
So you saying setting what I find hard is if I say I'm going to meditate now from today, I'm going to make sure I meditate every day, and then you start meditating, or say like, even sometimes when it comes to the gym, I'm like, oh, but I have so much to do. All this in the back of our head, and like how can you basically like change that train of thought, like of like, oh, this is more important, or I should be probably doing this. And
well, I can change that now because I've done what you've done, and I have gone to the gym for 12 weeks, and I've done my writings, and I've done my gratitude. And I've achieved a lot within them 12 weeks. Then I fell off the wagon. And when I fell off the wagon, then everything was hard. Everything was stress. There was problems coming more of the time. But I've learned to get back on the horse an awful lot quicker.
yeah.
I've learned to get back on the horse.
So that will probably still happen for you probably as well, and you'll just go straight back.
Yeah, not as much now because I'm very disciplined now, but it wasn't always like that. But I know as an individual through my successes and my results in life that if I get that hour in the morning and I do these things, and then these routines, these daily disciplines, these rituals, whatever you want to call it, I know then when I take action, I'm setting up a different reaction or attraction. Why? Because I'm on the frequency of my goal. And a lot of people then will, get into the talking about what they don't have and the problems and so on like that. So we look at the law of polarity. Everything has an opposite in life. So we can focus on the problem, or we can look for the solution. We can focus on the dark, or we can look for the light. That way. We have negativity, we have positivity, and there's too much, there's too much made up of positivity. Like, positivity is one of the first steps. So we want to learn to be a little bit more positive about something. But being positive about something, like there's enough food out there for every bird on the universe, but the bird actually has to fly out of the nest to get food. Too many people are sitting in the nest waiting on someone to come and knock on the door. That's not going to happen in life. Like, you actually have to take some action.
Yeah, and with meditation, have you found that that's really helped you? I'm reading a book, The Source by Tara Stewart. She's a neuroscientist.
Yeah.
And she talks about like literally changing, meditating will change your emotions and you'll literally just change your life.
Well, that's back down to your program, and that's down to your subconscious mind. That's down to the soil, it can only accept. So if you're starting to meditate, so like, again, like I do in the 30, 45 minutes in the morning, and I do a 45-minute one in the afternoon then as well. So
45 minutes in the afternoon.
In the afternoon.
See,
as well.
I'd have a thing in my head where I'm like, I don't have 2 hours to spare in my day. That's the type of, I need to change that. I know I need to change that.
Well, here's the thing. Everyone is different. I've more time on me hands nowadays. I probably wouldn't have been able to do that years ago when I was managing 31 limos on the road. I had 48 tenants in commercial property, and I wouldn't have been able to do that. But I could do the hour in the morning. I could do the 5 to 6 a.m. in the morning and then go to the gym at 6:15.
So is that what you get up at 5, go to the gym at 6:15? Is that your daily routine? Like, is it?
Sort of, yeah. That's the daily routine.
And would you go to bed like around, like, that's what I found when I was doing the program. I was getting up at 5, and we were doing the meditation. Then I'm kind of going like that. I'm like, I need to go to bed earlier. I think like I was going to bed at like 10:30, 11.
Yeah, I'd probably go to bed about 10 o'clock. But your body clock changes. Why? Yeah. Because you're still getting your 8 hours. But ask the question is, what's going to happen between the hours of 10 and 12 tonight that's going to change your life?
Yeah, I have a thing, like even last night I'm after getting into like a bad routine. My focus for work is like really early in the morning or really late at night. And it's like before I'm going to bed, I'm like, oh, I'll do that now. I'll just do that now. I got my laptop and I'm like, I'll do that as well. And I'm like, I need to go to bed. When I get up, I was literally thinking last night, I was like, if I get up early in the morning, that can all be done.
I used to find that it's about utilising your time and your energy as well. And I used to find that, if you can do the things that you want to do that's going to bring you the most or be more beneficial for you in life, I get them done first. Your
goal achieving activities that you say, yeah.
I get them done first thing in the morning. Why is that? Because if I'm coming out of a swim or an ice bath or a meditation, my frequency is higher. So my energy is higher. So then that action that I take at that point of time is going to set up a reaction or attraction. We go out into the real world, and we are living in a real world, and it's easy for me to sit here and say then that I can do a 45-minute meditation in the afternoon. Some people can't do that because they're in a 9-to-5 job, and then on the way home they have to collect the kids, and then you'll have sport and activities with the kids in the evening. So it's easier for me to say that. But you can get the 5 to 6 done in the morning, or the 5:30 to 6:30, or the 6 to 7 if you truly want that. But why I get my goal achieving activities done first thing in the morning is my energy is higher. When I go out into the real world, which we're all living in a real world, I'm going to have triggers. And my 5 senses and what I see, hear, taste, touch and smell, and we live our life, 90% of what we do in life is going to be triggered through our 5 senses. We see the same people. They, trigger the same thoughts. They trigger the same emotions. And I get that done first thing in the morning. And that's why then when I'm doing that under a different energy, I'm going to get a different reaction or attraction in life. And that's why, you hear the old saying, people saying, work smart, not hard. Like, I done 80-hour weeks many years ago setting up businesses. And at that point of time, I believed that's what needed to be done. Now, I still ended up where I wanted to end up. I did achieve the goal that I set out. But me looking back in it now,
burnt out.
I've burnt out many times. And to the point of, I remember for the first 4 or 5 years of my son's Harry's life, I wasn't around. I was not around. I was just a complete workaholic. But me looking back on it now, I didn't need to do that. But why didn't I need to do that? At that point of time, everything in life, is down to a level of awareness. We don't get what we want in life, we get what we're aware of. So someone say that's in a job that's earning 40,000 a year, they're only aware of earning 40,000 a year. Someone that has a business and they're earning 100,000 a year, but they're working a 70 or 80 hour week, they're only aware of working a 70 or 80 hour week. So we don't get what we want, we get what we're aware of. So when you start being aware that there's more in life, so I was earning 30,000 a year, I was spending 40,000, I was in a 9-to-5 job, I didn't like that job, that's all I was aware of. Then I bought my first limousine, and I remember my first limousine, I think I turned over 70,000 in the first year. I was aware then of being able to turn over 70,000 plus my 30,000 I was earning in my day job was 100,000. Then I bought a second limousine, and you become more aware in life. You become more aware about things in life. And over, I suppose, the last 20 years practically in business, I've just become more aware of how to earn money quicker, how to, listen to my body, how to get in touch with my emotions. But, it wasn't just a straight road. Like when we look at nature, there's no straight lines in nature. So, we go down and we go around to the left, and it's a little bit like a road. And on the road, you're going to have potholes, you're going to have speed bumps, you're going to have traffic lights, you're going to have traffic jams. But if you hold that destination in your mind, you're going to get there. And success is a bunch of failures and successes all come together. But a lot of the time,
you only see the success on social media and everything else, yeah.
A lot of the time why people don't succeed is because they fail a few times and they don't have persistence. Persistence and keep watering the plant. Persistence and keep putting the plant in the sunlight. Persistence and keep making sure the temperature is right for that plant or that seed to grow.
Yeah. So for anybody listening, is there any books that you'd recommend or any podcasts to listen to on mindset?
So the way that I teach things, it's so easy for us to, have the magpie syndrome and go from book to book or podcast to podcast. And, we can get an understanding. So someone might listen to this podcast and have a little bit of an understanding more about the conscious mind, subconscious mind, or energy, or, maybe having a daily discipline in the morning, or doing the things that, the goal achieving activities early. But what are they going to do with it? Like if you look at, I'd often read a book 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was like, is it reading the same good book multiple times to kind of literally understand it to a T?
So for me, we want to take too much information in consciously. And although we know we should be doing these things, we're not doing them. Like, to me, true knowledge is understanding. Yeah. And if you truly understand something, you will apply that in your life. So, like, when I'll give you an instance, Dr. Joe Dispenza, he does a week-long meditation. I've been to 5 in Cancun. I was in 1 in London, and then I was at an advanced follow-up in Colorado. And what he basically does is you go there for a week, you turn your phone off and you change your environment and you immerse yourself into meditation.
So you've no phone for a week or nothing like that?
Well, you have your phone in your room, but do you really, like, if you're taking 6 or 8 days out of your life to go there
investing so much money
and investing so much money, do you want to be getting triggered by the outside world? Well, for me personally, I don't, because I want change in my life and I understand that. But I immerse myself. So, when my life changed back in 2004, I wanted to know how. I qualified as a hypnotherapist. Then I qualified in NLP, I done Reiki, I done integrated energy therapy, I studied with Paul McKenna. I went off.
Where, sorry to interrupt you, for all these courses, like if someone is looking to do what you're doing, or like where can someone find all these courses?
Well, nowadays it's so much easier. Yeah, like I remember I was doing I first qualified as a hypnotherapist in 06, and I had to go to the Merino Institute of Education every 2 weeks for 2 days on a Saturday and Sunday. And I remember then every 2 weeks you'd get a new lesson, and the lesson would get posted out in the post, and you'd get a book and you'd get a tape cassette, you know, and you'd have to listen to the lesson. But nowadays there's so much information online, and you can go and do these courses. But if it was me personally, I would go to someone that's demonstrating by the results. So why does someone come to me? Why did people come to me to get mentored in business? Because I've started 7 and 8 figure businesses. I've sold 7 and 8 figure businesses. I've already achieved. I already have that awareness. I already have that knowledge. I already have that information. So if you're going to someone to learn off someone that's not demonstrating by the results. So if I want a 6-pack, I'll look for someone that has a 6-pack, and I'll go and I'll actually like, okay, so what are you doing? How are you training? What are you eating? You're not looking to reinvent the wheel. You're just trying to understand what's his level of awareness got to do with that. But so back to the question is, what should people do? There's too much of the magpie syndrome. And the magpie syndrome is listening to so many podcasts, but not actually applying any of the things that you learn from that podcast in your life. So what are you going to keep doing? You're going to keep going from place to place. So, you know, in my program, there's 12 lessons, and you watch the same video every day for 7 days. You read the same...
repetitive.
Yeah, you read the same article for 7 days. You answer the same questions for 7 days. Why is that designed like that? Well, that's designed like that because the subconscious mind can only accept, and we don't want you getting more information. We want you to understand the information. And through true understanding of something, you can change.
Yeah. So for anybody listening and probably be interested to do the program with you, where can they find you?
Well, I have Instagram, Joseph Costello Mentor. Again, I'm not doing much this year. This is actually me first.
Are you not doing for the rest of the year?
No, I'd probably look at in the new year going back and doing something. So again, I've took a year out. So this is me first time I'm actually on camera in 9 months.
Thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, and it's amazing. I was coming here today, and the fact that you know you haven't been in camera, like it's like as if, okay, what will I say, or this, that, and the other, because you fell out of that routine, you fell out of that rhythm, and you know, and then you just come here and it's just like a conversation, you know.
Back to normal.
Back to normal.
Yeah.
Back to normal.
You'll probably be like, maybe I should go back and start doing the program again.
I actually do miss it.
Yeah.
One thing I do believe in life, like I do believe it's one of my purposes in life is to help people, but due to personal things going on in my life and me want to find me as an individual, you know, that way, that's why I chose to take the year off, you know, that way. But to help people in life,
that just shows how well you're doing to be able to take a year off. And just,
I don't know about that, like, you know, I can come here and put on a brave face and look good and say all these words that make me look good. But no, I'm happy in life, and I'm more content in life in the last 9 months, because again, it's a little bit like an onion, and we unlayer ourselves in life. So some people will want their first car, that's unlayered. Then they want their first house, that's unlayered. Then they want to start a business, that's another layer gone. Then they want to hit certain money goals, that's another layer gone. Then they want to sell the business, that's another layer gone. And I've done different, I've unveiled many layers over the years, and one of the main layers that I've done over the last few months is just want to understand me a little bit more, and that when I'm sitting there in the room on my own with my headphones on and my blindfolds on, that I'm just happy and content within me. And, you know, it's not the house, it's not the car, it's not the bank balance, it's not what people think of you as an individual. It's just that you're happy within me. And that's a layer that I'm into at this minute. And I'll unpeel that layer, and then there'll be another layer. It'll be like the toasted Sambo.
Yeah, it's like, that's why I was like, oh, I want a new car. But then I was like, I'll get a new car, and after a couple of weeks I'll be like, oh, what's next?
That's the magpie syndrome again. Yeah.
You're just kind of like, I feel like you realise it's like the new phone.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with that in life. Like, there's nothing wrong with wanting a new car. There's nothing wrong with wanting these things in life. But I tell you what, I will tell you is going to be wrong if you think that contentment or happiness is going to come
make you happy,
from the new car or, you know, the new house or the business or the turnover or the profit. That's what I'm going to tell you you're not going to have, because a lot of people want to climb Mount Everest. And we're programmed into believing there's a pot of gold at the top of Mount Everest. Well, I've climbed Mount Everest and there was a pot of gold there, but it doesn't change how you think and how you feel about yourself. And that's why I just done a deep delve within me.
Yeah. Thanks so much for taking the time out of your day and coming on.
Are we finished already? I probably never gave you a chance even to ask too many questions.
You already answered all of them already.
Yeah, I probably talked too much, you know.
Thanks.
But thanks very much for the opportunity here today. And it's great to see you as an individual, you know, achieving what you want to achieve. And at times in life, we give ourselves too much of a hard time. And we don't actually sit down and say, what did I achieve in the last 6 months?
Yeah, I feel like I find it a little bit hard with that. I'm always like...
Yeah, but focus on what you achieved, because you have grown as an individual over the last 6 months. And focus on that little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, the optimism. But thanks very much for having me here today.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks so much for listening. If you're looking to reach out, you can find us on Instagram at Demi's Nails and Beauty or at Unlock Potential Podcast. See you next time.